Good afternoon. My name is Jarrod Barnes. I'm the other Jarrod at the Near Foundation. You heard from Jarrod Thompson earlier today. I have the privilege of leading our founder success team. We essentially are the front door to the Near ecosystem. We focus on ecosystem growth and meaningfully engaging with all the founders and builders on Near. Really excited to share with you today what we've been up to over the past year, some of the impact that's been created by builders, but more importantly, where we're going as well. So, just to give you a snapshot of some of the milestones that collectively we've been able to achieve. And this is something we are incredibly proud of. We've had over $100 million in external capital raised by founders building on Near. Definitely not something to downplay. We've been able to engage a wide range of builders, so many of them through this hackathon here at REDACTED. And something that we are deeply proud of are the number of projects that we've been able to be really hands-on with, get in the weeds, help them work through problems, particularly through our incubation programs as well. And you saw Ilya share this ecosystem map earlier today. You know, and I'll be honest with you all, this didn't exist 6 months ago. And so we have been very focused on growing the number of teams in the Near ecosystem, but really meaningfully engaging teams, building at all layers of the stack at the intersection of AI and Web3. But I am standing up here today as myself, but really it has been an incredible team effort. If you aren't familiar with our founder success team, we have some new faces who many of them are here today, but it has truly been a team effort as we have grown and scaled this ecosystem. But I really want to help clarify, because a lot of times you may be on Twitter and saying, well, what does Near Horizon do? What is the focus? And I want to clarify that for you. We focus on 3 key things. The first is our incubation programming, right? This is really the core of what we do and kind of the glue of what holds together a lot of our initiatives, right? That shows up in working with teams directly one-on-one, and shows up in running cohort-based programs. The second is really ecosystem growth. There's a lot of different buckets in that, ranging from partnerships to our community efforts to even some of the things we're doing on technical success and partner engineering. And then the last is actually some things that I'm excited to unveil today in our capital deployment efforts as well. And so how that shows up, again, just to create a little bit more clarity, when we say incubation programming, what does that actually mean? We run 3 to 4 cohorts a year, typically every quarter. We started this in-house by our team collectively running incubation programs. We're now scaling that to a wide range of partners. Deli Labs, which is a pretty notable VC fund, and Betaworks, which is a venture studio in New York City in the US, have been our first 2 partners. And we're going to be continuing to run subsequent cohorts throughout the year. Typically, we engage about 40 to 50 projects and really target not external capital raise as a vanity metric, but to show the quality of programming, to show the velocity of development that these teams are really experiencing through the program. On the ecosystem growth side, what that really looks like are thinking about what are the right partners that we want to engage and how do we continue to serve builders at all levels, right? Whether you are just starting out in your first hackathon or whether you've already raised the seed round, right, and you're meaningfully looking to grow and scale as well. And then continuing to be intentional in our community efforts that we've started very much at a grassroots level and excited to continue to partner with other folks across the ecosystem. And then lastly, and I'll share a little bit more in depth about this in a moment on our capital deployment, what we really think about is what are the right sustainable incentives to retain builders? It's already hard enough to build in the space. How do we make that as easy as possible and decrease that barrier to entry and truly just become rocket fuel for builders? And so despite all of that, builders still face challenges. We listen to folks across the ecosystem. There is a Grand Canyon or mile-wide size gap between you participating in a hackathon and maybe you becoming a venture-backed founder. That is no small chasm to just cross, right? That's very real. We often celebrate our venture-backed founders, but there are a lot of builders out there in the world. And typically what we've seen, and why does this happen, is that oftentimes on this journey, a builder may be really, really excited about an idea. They may deploy something on mainnet or testnet, right, at a hackathon. But there's a lot of barriers to actually building in this space, right? And typically we see builders stop post-hackathon. There's a pretty high churn rate, right, as well. And so these are some of the things we found along this builder journey. And so as we've thought about that, how do we actually alleviate that gap through sustainable incentives and actually drive builders to keep building, keep shipping, and keep creating value across the ecosystem? So really excited to actually unveil something we've been working on for the past few months called Protocol Rewards. What is Protocol Rewards? It is an objective, metric-based reward system that rewards you based off of the impact you create. How does that actually show up? Well, what we've done is we've built a very straightforward analytics SDK that you can integrate with a few lines of code that tracks both on-chain and off-chain activity. From a on-chain perspective, we look at the value that you're driving from transaction volumes, the number of daily active users that you're engaging, and essentially your retention of users on your platform. From an off-chain perspective, we look at your GitHub activity. We look at, are you actually shipping? Are you driving commits? Are you closing PRs? Are you having more contributors engage with your product? We aggregate that data, we verify that data, and distribute rewards off of that. So, have been very, very excited to unveil this. Just literally published the NPM package at like 3 a.m. this morning. So please somebody create a PR and fix this for me. But no, in all seriousness, really, really excited about this. Just to make this a bit more real and actually put some numbers, we're testing this out as a pilot. We're going to be working with about 50 builders. If you want to be one of those 50 builders to test this out, please come find us at the booth. But what we look at is we set aside at $50K for our rewards pool initially. Your earning scenarios could range anywhere from $100 if you are simply just adding one commit a day. We want to reward and recognize that progress to actually the highest level of activity up to 10K per month for yourself and or your team that you could earn simply just based off of doing what you already wanted to do, right? In shipping and building and adding value to the ecosystem. We deploy 50% of that immediately, and 50% of that is actually vested over 6 months, largely so that we have a sustainable, consistent drip and not just a one-time disbursement. That's probably one of the biggest insights we learned in deploying grants in the past is one-time disbursements can be great, but if not used sustainably, you may find yourself in the exact same situation that you previously were. And so what we want to do is drive a sustainable set of value to the ecosystem. So very, very excited about this as well. And I'll leave you with this. I've been brief, but it's because we're very excited about things that are going on. If you're interested in applying to our next cohort, please come find us. We'd love to talk to you. We're going to be kicking off our next cohort in Q1 of next year between February and March. And then if you're interested in signing up for that Protocol Rewards beta, please scan. If you need another QR code, I know a lot of QR codes, but please scan that QR code. Very simple form, taking 10 seconds of your name, email, and wallet address. We'd love to speak with you as well. But again, thank you all. We are here as a team that is for builders, for founders in the ecosystem. We want to be the front door, but we also want to be with you as you progress along your journey. So if you have any questions, please come find us at the booth outside. But thank you for your time, and thank you all for coming out to Redacted.